So in the midst of all the news, all the updates about players coming back, injuries, and GM firings, we had ourselves some other low-key things that I think will start to gain a little bit more traction as these days go on here. Today we're talking about 2 trade requests from 2 players on different teams, and I thought it'd be kind of convenient to put these together since they are technically talking about the same thing. So, our targets are the Buffalo Sabres as well as the San Jose Sharks. Let's go out there and talk about these in chronological order, starting out with the news that we had received on February 13th, so 2 days ago, from BuffaloNews.com. This piece was published by Lance Wasowski and will be linked in the description if you want to go ahead and read it, but it talks about how forward Victor Olofsson is remaining patient while awaiting a possible trade from Buffalo. Take a look at what this article goes out there and says. The piece opens up by talking about how the past 11 months have been amongst the most challenging of Victor Olofsson's career. He's been a healthy scratch in 18 of the Sabres' 52 games this season, and 36% of their games dating back to March 13th, 2023. Oh boy, that's a lot of games, if I do say so myself. There also was a 3-week span in which the former 20-goal scorer was not playing. And the article even says here, a 3-time 20-goal guy, Olofsson has only 4 goals in 33 games during his 5th season with Buffalo. His spot on the power play is gone, so is his role in the top 6. His average ice time is down 6.5 minutes from 2019-20 when his remarkable left-handed shot produced 20 goals on a line with Jack Eichel and earned him a spot on the NHL's all-rookie team. And honestly, that was one of the highlights, I feel, of the 2019 rookie class. I believe that was the Quinn Hughes-Cale Makar year, but Olofsson did have 42 points in 54 games played, just stellar point production as a top 6 forward. And even last year, the guy had 28 goals in 75 games played as well. 40 points, he was on pace for about 30 if he had played the full year. And this year, he has significantly declined in terms of ice time, in terms of spot in the lineup, and in terms of the numbers. This is what the article goes out there and continues. Olofsson, a pending UFA, told Buffalo News that he's informed the Sabres that he would welcome a change of scenery before the March 8th trade deadline. Yeah, definitely, Olofsson said, when he is asked if he's approached GM Kevin Adams on a possible trade. I'm not gonna lie about that. I've got to play hockey, and right now I'm not playing. You always have to think about yourself and your career. I've always had a great time here, and I love it here, but I've got to think about myself, obviously. If there's an opportunity to go somewhere and play, that would be the ideal thing. Now, when reading this article, I kind of was thinking about a lot of what Sabres fans have been saying, mostly on their subreddit the past few weeks, that yeah, Victor Olofsson has probably been in a lot of trade talks. It's just kind of difficult to trade a guy who's making $4.75 million a year this season and who isn't really doing much of what he's supposed to be doing, which is scoring goals. When it comes to the idea of a rental, this guy really doesn't seem like a good option when you talk about just the raw hard numbers. Of course, if you're talking about into the future, if you give this guy a power play spot, if you allow him the room to move and to just snipe pucks left, right, and center like he had been able to do in the past, then sure, there's an opportunity for Olofsson to still be a contributable NHL forward. It's just, he's really not doing himself any favors this season with the way his progression has gone. So when it comes to the idea of Buffalo trying to trade him away, hey, it'd be kind of difficult. Like, imagine getting assets in return for Olofsson at this point. 28 years old too, so he's not even as young as he was back when he had that first 20-goal year, so there definitely is a little bit more to be desired, I would say, when it comes to Olofsson and his profile. So in regards to the likelihood of him being able to get traded, I mean, it's good that he's honest about it in the media, saying, yeah, I've approached Kevin Adams, I would like a change of scenery, there is an official trade request here. It's just, I don't really know the likelihood of that actually accomplishing itself. So unfortunately for the Buffalo Sabres, I feel like the best course of action for Olofsson here, if he doesn't get traded, would just to be leaving in free agency and then signing some cheap deal somewhere else because he's already gotten the bag with that $4 million contract and see what he could do with some other team because we know the talent is there, it just hasn't shown up this season. So, when it comes to the other guy that we're talking about in regards to a trade request, this is an article from the Hockey News from yesterday. The Hockey News exclusive report. The San Jose Sharks and forward Kevin Labanc are working together to find a fresh start. The Hockey News has learned that San Jose Sharks winger Kevin Labanc and his agent are working with the team for Labanc to find a fresh start in the NHL. Labanc has been in head coach David Quinn's doghouse for much of the season, and he was a healthy scratch for the 7th straight game yesterday against the Winnipeg Jets. Here is what the agent, Mike Curran, went out there and said. I echo what Kevin said yesterday about finding a fresh start. We are working with the team to find him a new opportunity in the NHL, either by the trade deadline or in the offseason. Regardless of the outcome, I know he'll continue to work as hard as he can to get back in the lineup and give the Sharks his best effort. Labanc also had comments saying, I've been in this league for 8 years now, so I kind of understand the business side of it. It's just an understanding that it's not working here. Maybe go somewhere else and get a fresh start. The Hockey News can confirm there is no animosity from either side in this situation, so neither the team nor the player are having any harsh feelings, but Labanc will continue to work hard and practice and earn an opportunity to play in the Sharks lineup. Now, when it comes to Kevin Labanc's situation in San Jose, he's 28 years old, signed till the end of this season, also making $4.7 million a year, so he's pretty much in the exact same boat as Victor Olofsson. This is why I'm talking about them in the same video. And Labanc this year has 7 points, 2 goals, and 5 assists in 32 games played. Definitely not the same 33 points that he had in 72 games last year, and a huge far cry from the 56 points he had in 82 games in 2018-19. They also went to the finals that year, if you remember, so Kevin Labanc has had some pretty good success in a holistic body of work with the San Jose Sharks. It's just these past few years have not been as kind. And pretty much everything that you could say about Victor Olofsson that we had talked about 5 minutes ago can be repeated here for Mr. Labanc. How if you're talking about a rental situation, there's no value here. No team that is a cup contender, cup favorite, whatever, is going to look at Kevin Labanc and say, oh yeah, that's the guy that we need in our team this year. Let's shell out a 3rd-round pick for him. Let's shell out a 2nd-round pick for this guy. If you're looking for Kevin Labanc's overall redemption tour in the NHL, it's probably going to find itself in the offseason. You're probably going to see him become a free agent and sign elsewhere for cheap. I get it, the agent is going out there and saying, yeah, the Sharks and I, we're working together to try to find Kevin Labanc a new home by the trade deadline. But realistically, how much selling could you pitch for your client who only has 7 points in 30 games as a $4.7 million 28-year-old winger? I mean, there's very little value and a very little sell here that I think could be accomplished. And it's one of those things where if you had already talked about the idea of a Labanc trade like last year, maybe it would have been easier to do that. He had 33 points in 72 games after all, but this season things have not been going all too well. The scratching, the deployment, the lack of ice time, the lack of production, things just have not been going well for either of these two guys in Labanc or Olofsson, so maybe the change of scenery thing will have to wait, assuming a team doesn't really go out there and see too much value in what they have to bring anyway. So if you're a fan of either the San Jose Sharks or the Buffalo Sabres, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about the official trade requests being confirmed by both of these players here? The Sharks and the Sabres are not doing all too hot, but they've got assets on their teams like these, scoring wingers who haven't been scoring and who are making $4.7 million and who happen to be 28 years old and who happen to be expiring. More similarities than one. And they're all on the market here. What are your thoughts on what these guys could fetch on the trade block? If you actually think they could fetch anything, if you're a team looking for a scoring depth winger to help you out in the playoffs, do you go to an Olofsson or a Labanc? If you're a fan of any other team that is not Buffalo or San Jose, what do you think the entire trade conversation would look like surrounding these guys? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.